Welcome to the Rated G for Gamers podcast, episode 298. Before we start the show, we want to thank all of our wonderful fans who have supported us. And if you want to show support for the Rated G Network, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/RatedG4Gamers. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Rated G for Gamers. And finally, please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. We appreciate all the love. I'm your host, Dave Rotino, and this is my co-host, Dan, the podcaster formerly known as Classic Robinson.
What's going on, man?
Dan, we got a fantastic show today. Special guest on the show. Without further ado, Joe Shagan, good friend, welcome back to the show.
Glad to be back. Thanks for having me, guys.
So it was a very special episode. It's a very special week. The most anticipated game of the year, Halo Infinite, dropped this week. And what better way to talk about Halo, to celebrate Halo, is the man who got me into the Halo series way back when you bought the original Xbox on day one with Halo.
So credit to the missus on that one, technically. That was our 1 year anniversary. We'd been going out for 1 year, and she thought it was a wise idea to spend that anniversary at the Toys R Us in Times Square with Bill Gates buying an Xbox. So, and that's why she's a keeper. That's why we're still here.
I was just gonna say she's a keeper. I don't know what I would do if my significant other said, you know what, let's go wait outside online
the freezing cold in November.
In the freezing cold to get a gaming console. Yeah. No, she wouldn't do that. But she's still a keeper, though.
Yeah.
Other good qualities.
Right. So I think we're gonna.
Wait.
Well, go ahead.
I have a question. When you got the OG Xbox, how did Dave like it? Because he shits on the OG Xbox. Every chance he gets.
So to be fair, Dana also gave me kind of a hard time because she was like, I'm gonna get this PS2. I was like, no, you gotta wait for it. This Xbox, it's amazing. It's got whatever fancy graphics and a better processor and Sony's crap. And I was like telling her to get this thing. So she held out and she bought the Xbox instead. And we got Dead or Alive and, embarrassingly enough, Mad Dash on day one.
Oh yeah,
I was like, you should get that Halo game because I was broke and she had some money. And she's like, I don't know, it doesn't seem that interesting. So she bought Mad Dash, which if anyone recalls is like little animal running Mario Kart.
Yeah.
And that lasted like a week. That didn't get a lot of legs.
Dead or Alive was pretty good.
Dead or Alive was great. Dead or Alive was amazing. And then she ended up actually buying me Halo as a Christmas present to play on it. And she still to this day refers to it as her Halo machine. Since didn't get a whole lot of mileage from that thing otherwise. But Dave, we definitely argued a lot about
there was some yeah.
Well, you know what?
The ups and downs of both systems.
It had a rough start, right? Like Halo was the game. The game.
I seem to recall you playing something called Kinetica when that thing came out. So
yeah, I
think Halo and Dead or Alive is a much better launch than the PlayStations, if you ask me.
Well, Kinetica wasn't even a launch title, to be fair. SSX.
That was after the fact.
That was the highlight of that. So this was like a year after at least.
So full disclosure, I think the OG Xbox is one of the top 3 most underrated consoles of all time. I'm sorry.
Tell them what your other two are, because I think
Dreamcast. It's Dreamcast.
No, Dreamcast is mine.
No.
Dreamcast
is
number
one.
The
Dreamcast is rated. I'm sorry, it's rated. It's not underrated. It's rated.
Well, at the time, I think history has come around on it, but
number one, the Sega Saturn. I don't care if you're out there. You can add us on Twitter. Sega Saturn, number one most underrated. Xbox, the OG Xbox, and then the Wii U. My 3 top most underrated consoles of all time. So, and you know what? Your woman is a keeper, but her and Dave are both wrong. I'm sorry. They're both wrong.
Well, anyway, we're not necessarily here to talk about the old. We're here to talk about the new. And we're here to talk about Halo Infinite, right? We've all got some time with this game, right? I know we played a bit of the multiplayer, and I know all of us have played the single player and gotten to. I think we can say we got into the open world part. I don't think that spoils anything, right?
I'm 5 hours in. I'm definitely in the open world part.
Okay.
I think I already beat like 2 or 3 bosses down like in the open world. So yeah, I'm in it. I've played 0 multiplayer. And, you know, before I die, I probably will continue to have 0 multiplayer in Halo Infinite. So I'm safe to say I leave that to you guys, but I can talk all about the campaign.
Well, I mean, I've talked about the multiplayer a little bit, so I think it'd be good to get our impressions of the single player. I'm just going to come out and say it. I think it's good, not great yet, in my opinion. The verdict is still out. I think I need to give it a little bit more time. Because well, go ahead.
No.
Because
why isn't it fantastic?
Well, the game mechanics feel on point, but I am worried that once you start doing a bunch of missions, it's gonna get really boring. Because I don't know if they're like, I did a couple, and like there was some unique dialogue in there, and it was cool. I was like, okay, I feel like I'm doing something that's not just like a toss away. I don't know how I'm going to feel after my 30th like raid on an FOB, right? Is it still going to have the unique dialogue? Is it going to be a fresh experience at that point? You know, I just don't know. Like, so far it's great. Or, I mean, so far it is great, but I don't know if it's going to be, I don't know if I'm going to feel the way at the end. I don't know, 15, 20 hours in the game.
I'm still pretty positive about it. I mean, I've thoroughly enjoyed everything I've played so far. I definitely don't think I have anything that I would call a complaint at this point. I mean, the lack of co-op notwithstanding, which is very sad, because this would be a whole lot more fun with 1 to 3 other people. But It to me, so far it feels like, I don't know how much time you've gotten to like explore, but like just like you hit the fob, it shows you a few things on the map. You go take care of those things. Maybe you stumble across 1 or 2 other things, but it's got like just enough kind of discovering things, and like just climbing around with the grappling hook gives me like Breath of the Wild vibes. To where so far I'm just having a good time climbing around, seeing what's there. It's not, there's not as dense of a world. There's not like as many wacky. You're not going to just randomly discover a dragon, probably. But like it has that. The exploration is really fun. So I haven't gotten tired of that. And I've played Halo 1, 2, 3 multiple times, and I haven't gotten tired of killing those same guys at those same bases over and over again. So I don't see this having more of that being a problem, but I haven't gotten far enough to like have a final.
Well, that's a little more structured, you know, and you know there's a plot that's unraveling as you're going by, and you're gonna hit a point where there's like all this dialogue and maybe some like big back and forth, you know, which they've had in this game so far. So you know, I can't say they haven't hit on that stuff just yet. And I guess it's a bit more organic. You can just kind of do it in whatever order you want, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean,
well, I'll be honest. I beat Halo 5 when it came out, right, over the weekend. It took me about maybe a week or 2 weeks, something like that, to beat it. I don't remember what happened. And
it was a terrible story.
It doesn't matter if it's terrible or not. Let's just say, you know, it's great. It doesn't matter if the story's great or bad. I don't remember what happened at the end. I don't. And this doesn't do a great job of catching you up if you've never played a Halo game. I'm sorry. I had to go watch a 20-minute sort of, you know, the story of Halo so far to remember why I'm doing what I'm doing.
I'm very curious to see where this plot wraps up, but I almost feel like they really wish 5 didn't happen. They're like trying to just do something else, which I'm not mad about. But
yeah, it wasn't great, and I think if they had more time, they would have done what Gears did and put in the video of the story so far, because like Gears 5 gave you the here's what happened up until now, and it gave you a really good primer.
Psychonauts did a really good job of that this year.
Oh yeah,
Psychonauts was fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about this Far Cry sort of, you know, liberate the outpost open world. I mean, the grappling hook definitely
Grappling hook is
makes
badass. Yeah.
it is. It makes the game for me, right? Because I'm like, oh, I have to go all the way up there. What do I got to figure out a way to drive around and go up, or I could just, leave my car here and go up there, and that's awesome. And that part is awesome. I just, I wish it was a little bit more linear. That's just me. I thought
you like the mission structure. Yeah,
I like the mission structure. I thought the game started off great, and then when I got to the open world, it sort of soured for me. So I was like the opposite of what other people think.
I'm curious.
I'm trying to like it.
A quick poll for everyone. What difficulty are we playing on?
Oh,
normal,
heroic.
always heroic. Yeah, which is it's giving me a good enough challenge if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple spots where I've died like 3-4 times and had to be like, all right, pump the brakes. Let's think about this. How are we going to approach it? So it gives me enough pause. So it's fun, but not frustrating for me right now. So I think that's where I'm going to be happiest. But yeah, I feel like if you wanted to, like, without having to bother to go find all the things and get all the upgrades, if you just like went to the big spot on the map where the next thing is and dealt with it and then rolled to the next one, you could have a very old school Halo like story done kind of thing. Like, there are people online saying they finished it in like 10 hours or so.
True.
So
yeah,
but certain areas to get there, I got to run through this item on the map. Like, I ran into that. Like, I'm trying to get here, and I run into this.
Right.
And since I'm here, screw it.
You're going to do the thing and the whatever. Well, you're getting rewarded for it at least, so you get a little thing out of it, which is nice. But
yeah, screw it.
Like,
that's the problem that I've been running into. I always get caught up in something else trying to get to the story point, because the story point isn't right next to it. It's all the way.
Oh, it is. It is a little far away. Yeah, they purposely put you in all this other stuff. That way, you could do this and you could do that, but to get there is
The first map, like that first big, so the tower, since I don't think that's spoiling anything for anyone, that's like the first big thing to get done.
Yeah.
And that's like not too far for you, because there's a whole big, like, lower mountainy section that you can spend a lot of time crawling around and finding secret nonsense that you can just completely skip if you want to, like, not bother. So like a warthog from like where you land to the tower is like, I don't know, 2-3 minute drive. Like,
yeah. As long as the guy out.
What's the character that saves you from outer space, just floating?
Just the pilot, I think.
Yeah. Pilot. Okay. I wish they would have.
I don't think he ever gets a name.
I wish they flushed out his character a little bit more in the beginning of the story.
Right.
I know he wants to get back to his family. I don't know anything else other than that, right? Because that's what they show you in the beginning. Yeah. But I wish they kind of flushed it out, because it's just like you're Master Chief, and you're like, no, we're not going home. We're going to do this. I don't care what you want.
They get you right into it.
I don't care what you want. Yeah. And he's just like, what are you talking about? What? I got to go home. Like, I wish they flushed out a little bit more to give me some more of, like, why does he really need to, is it just a family? Like, why does he want to get home? Right? Why is he the only survivor? Right? Like, why?
Well,
like, I don't know if they flushed that out later in the story. I don't know, but it would be nice to know some of his motivations and why he's acting the way he is.
I do hope he gets a little deeper as the story goes. I've heard like several reviews were really positive about the him chief weapon dynamic, but like right now that guy like is bordering on annoying.
Yeah,
sometimes like every time I do anything, he's complaining about it, which is kind of funny. But like always, just whining every freaking step of the way.
Well, okay, so Dave knows this about me. Time is a luxury for me. I know time is a luxury. We're all grown person gamers.
Grown men gamers. You could say it, Dan. It's fine. I'm not going to groan. I'm not going to groan about it. It's fine. Grown
individuals.
We're grown gamers, right?
Grown
GG.
men gamers.
Okay.
GMG.
Okay. So I know Dave loves to play. He loves the challenge. He plays it on the highest difficulty.
Oh, I trust me. I understand. I am in the minority in this situation. Trust me.
Yeah.
But I enjoy it. I'm having a good time with it. That's what I want to say.
I think I do something similar. I may play it on easy or I may play it on normal, but I never upgrade anything.
Oh yeah.
So if I'm playing a game, I never upgrade my weapons. I'm playing level 20 with level 2 weapons. right? So technically, I am playing it on hard.
We kind of get to the same point in different ways, right? Because they build the game around you upgrading over time. Like they assume you'll have X amount of upgrade points at each and every point, and you'll get this new ability and this new ability.
I feel like I wouldn't have been able to beat God of War if I never upgraded anything. That game was punishing if you weren't constantly ranking up those weapons.
It forces me to upgrade at a certain point far in the game, right? Yeah. So Halo is a game you can't play like Call of Duty, right? Like in Call of Duty, you can hoard a weapon and there's always drops everywhere, or you can replenish your weapons everywhere. In Halo, you really have to keep grabbing a new weapon and moving and grabbing a new weapon. I'm sort of playing it like Call of Duty. I'm sort of hoarding my original gun.
You want that assault rifle.
Where it's hard to find drops. It's hard to find ammo for that original assault rifle, right? So I'm doing a lot of punching, grappling, punching, moving. And I do have the needle. That's like the one weapon, that you can find weapons. So I feel like I'm playing it on hard. I'm getting a challenge trying to beat a boss with a needle because I ran out of ammo.
I do like the change they made to like the ammo structure, because it used to be like if you needed AR ammo, you got to find an AR, and now they just have these like
the little
kinetic weapon stall, plasma weapon stall, electric weapon stall, and so if you've got one of those, you can just grab it. So it is actually easier this time around, I think, to like carry, because I'm just walking around with like a battle rifle and other like battle rifle pistol, battle rifle shot, but like that's the 90% of my playtime.
See, I don't really use the grappling hook to change my weapon. I'm just my OG shotgun, right, and a needler. That's it. And I'm grappling, punching. I'm doing more melee than anything. You ever beat a boss by meleeing him?
Oh yeah,
I do.
I was just doing one before. One of the giant brute guys. I was out of ammo, and I had to like circle strafe and punch.
I don't want to like.
No, I
don't
do
know if
like
that falls as like. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I do have those drops. There's few and far between for me as far as trying to replenish my regular ammo.
Well, you can get them. You can get them at the FOBs too. You can pick up whichever. You can pick up a base set of weapons, and then the more you unlock in the game, the more you get at the FOB. So you can basically spawn what you want, and you can arm the Marines with all those same weapons. So if you run out, you can just go up to the other dude who's got the thing and like swap out your empty weapon for like a full clip or whatever in the assault rifle, and they will happily transfer it for you. So you just kind of like flip it over and you're good to go.
Really? Okay.
It's kind of funny. It just occurred to me while you were talking about it. You can like definitely see where the co-op was supposed to be, because the FOBs have like 4 individual get a new weapon stations.
Yep.
For no apparent reason.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yep. Hopefully they patch that in soon, but I think it's not going to be till like mid next year.
Do you think they really should have just put a kibosh on putting it out in December and just put it out like in the spring and did more work on it?
I understand why they did that. Like I don't know what they would have done to improve what's there. And
would have been co-op would have been ready. Co-op would have been ready. It's coming out in May.
Yeah, but like a lot of people might never play that way. Like I'm sad, and a lot of us are sad, but there's also a lot of people that were only going to play it by themselves. Like, you only ever play campaign and never touch the multiplayer. Like I'm sure they've got some metrics on what percentage of people even use that feature. So,
well, what do you guys think about the multiplayer? Have you guys played together?
Oh yeah.
We're
playing probably at least once a week, I think.
If not
on like
more.
a good week. So we've definitely gotten a bunch of time in. But I mean, I'll let you go, Joe. I've definitely talked a little bit about the multiplayer already.
I think I've got the same opinion as most people in that like the foundation's great. It's super fun to play. I like almost everything about it. Even some of the things that other people complain about. Like I'm not mad about the outlines instead of like everyone being the same color.
That takes a little bit of getting used to, but yeah,
it's an adjustment phase. But I think it's a good move. I think people just aren't used to it. I don't know what it's like on maybe like an older TV or like the older console. Maybe it's more of a struggle for people. But I'm sitting here with the 65-inch OLED and a Series X, so it's not been a problem for me. But
right,
maybe I am privileged.
Well,
but like it's just thin. Like the playlist thing is weird, and usually like I don't even spend that much time playing with people online. Like it's always just the friends. Like there's enough of us in our like college group of pals that we can get like a 12-person game going without too much trouble. But the custom menu is like non-existent. Like all I ever wanted from the first time they showed anything was like, oh man, I can't wait to Spider-Man around the level with unlimited grappling hooks and rocket launchers, and can't do it.
Nope.
Like
it does have a lot of options, but not everything that you would expect to be there.
It has a lot of like the base shooter options, but not the things that are going to make like the Halo end. Like the fact that I can't control the equipment is just
it's weird.
A massive disappointment. I'm sure it'll get updated one of these days, but
yeah, and I think to add on to that too, they need more playlists, because right now there's just quick team or quick battle, which is 4v4, and you can do Slayer, Oddball, Capture the Flag, and like Strongholds, which is like capture the area. So there's only like those 4 types. There's no straight team Slayer. There's no Rumble where there's every man for himself. So there's that, and then there's like the big 12v12, right? The big team battle stuff, which has Slayer, Oddball, Capture the Flag, and I think the weird like power thing, like you have to power up the base with like 5 things.
The power seed thing.
Yeah. So and I know a lot of people online are like, we just want Team Slayer or we just want free for all, and they just don't have those yet for whatever reason, you know. And I don't think it's terribly hard to just say, here's a new playlist, have at it, because I think
Team Slayer does get in there, but they just don't have like a dedicated list for it. Like it's part of the big team battle and the other playlists. It's in there, but
right. But like just straight Team Slayer like all the time would be nice, because I know like 5 and 4 and Reach had like a ton of playlists. You know, there was like the SWAT stuff for people who wanted like to play with just like the battle rifle and no radar, like the kind of hard mode or whatever it is. It's not really for me, but I mean it's it's a thing that people want. So
I think the thing with like the whole game in general is like, and it's just all anyone's talking about, unfortunately, is the whole like monetization thing has like so directly led to so much of this. Like I did the PC hack where you can like start the game, go offline, and then you can access all these playlists that don't exist normally. So like I saved their Fiesta game type to my files, so now I can play Fiesta even though I couldn't make a custom Fiesta game if I wanted to. So they're like specifically locking things away for some reason, you know, and it's just like, and they're like, oh, we don't want to have a Slayer because we don't want to make the other playlists not have enough people in them. But like, if Halo 4 and 5 could have supported a Slayer only playlist with the number of players playing those games, I'm sure this one with its free to play on PC on 2 generations would be just fine. Like the number of people playing this game has got to be the highest since 3.
Yeah. Have you guys gotten any of the multiplayer armor stuff in single player yet?
It's all cosmetics, and not even like the attachments. It's colors and poses.
Yeah, yeah.
I've definitely gotten poses, stuff I'll never use.
No. But I mean, at least you know that the Molnar armory equipment stuff or whatever, you can just ignore all that because you're never going to be able to use it for anything. Yeah. Like you can't customize your single player Spartan, which would be kind of cool. I mean, you know, you could see him during the death pose and whatnot.
It'd be a little weird messing with Master Chief in game, but
I don't know.
maybe for when you're doing co-op though.
Yeah.
Did you realize that the main boss in Halo Infinite is primarily the boss from Halo Wars 2?
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So
interesting.
I don't remember what happened in Halo 5 at the end. I had to catch up from that. But as I was watching the sort of 20-minute, this is the story of Halo, it really focused at the end of that on Halo Wars 2 because that leads into Halo Infinite.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Right? Like when he introduces himself and he says, "Yeah, you're Master Chief. Yeah, I'm going to show you who I am," right? Because he's from Halo Wars 2.
Yeah, I remember when they first showed the gameplay premiere last year, and at the end it was like the brutes in red, and everyone online was like, "Oh my god, the Banished! I can't believe they did the Banished!" Yes, and I was like, "The what now?" Because
yeah,
I don't play RTS games as much as I love Halo.
Surprisingly, I mean, I played the demo of the first one. I never got around to playing it or playing 2, but yeah, I should go back and watch those cinematics from that. That would probably kind of tie up some of the loose ends, because I think Halo Wars 2 came out after 5, right? In the
Yes.
timeline, yeah. And
Yeah,
that
Halo Wars 2 came out like 2 or 3 years ago. I think 3 years ago.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. I mean, I dig it so far. I do like the single player story. I have an idea of where it's going to end up. I don't want to say, because that may actually like spoil some things, but let's just say I think somebody's not going to make it out alive.
Oh, okay. I've wow.
No?
I mean, there's only 2 somebodies that I would even care about at this point, so I don't know what you're getting at. But
technically, there's 3. Technically, there's 3 somebodies.
There is definitely
that I
somebody.
would care about.
Okay.
Not that I would
Okay,
care
that
about.
you care about.
Okay.
One of those
I mean,
somebodies is slightly annoying.
Yeah.
Is Master Chief going to make it to Halo 7?
Oh no, well he can never die.
So
Come on.
that's an interesting question, because like they've been talking about like Halo Infinite for a reason, and they're like, this is like a platform for the next 10 years. So like, and that's always kind of like a nice idea. Like, I wish things like Rock Band would have done that. Like, instead of trying to sell me like a new game every freaking year, they could have just made it and just given me DLC packs for forever and been fine. So the idea that like we're like, here's this thing, occasionally we're gonna have new expansions with new campaign chunks and constantly updating the multiplayer is gonna be the thing. I'm curious how much they really wrap up at the end of this one.
Oh, that's an interesting point, right? Because you don't want to put a finite button on it and then say, but wait, and then it's like you pick up right before the end of the story happens, and you're like, you can do all this other stuff. Because they've done that. They've like retconned some video games to where, main character essentially dies, but then they're like, well, there's DLC. He didn't really die. And then he comes back and does all this other stuff.
Story.
Yeah. So, I mean, I wonder, did they say if they're going to charge for any of the new stuff?
Probably. I mean, I assume the way they've been acting with this multiplayer, I'd be shocked if they didn't. But I would imagine it's like you should have Game Pass if you don't want to pay for things. Is probably their MO on it.
Yeah. I mean, so like, what would like I'm curious if they are going to go that route. Then this is going to be substantial DLC, where it's going to be like, here's the next chapter of what it is. Is that a $5 thing? Is that a $10 thing? Like, how much? I'm actually, I don't know how much I would pay for more Halo, depending on what the content is. Like, I mean, I would pay for it because I love Halo, but
I mean, I paid $60 for ODST, and that was like the same engine, no new multiplayer, and like it was a whole new campaign, and I really enjoed it. But it wasn't nearly the package that Halo 3 was.
It's true.
So I'd happily pay $20 for a new campaign.
I was gonna say, what would you do if 2 years from now, 3 years from now, it was like Halo Reach or Halo ODST? Like it's you got Game Pass, it's free.
Yeah, well, I probably will still have Game Pass at that point, but
And you know what? To be honest, I have, if you're watching the video, I don't know if you can see it right behind me. I have the physical edition, and the game's not even on there. The game's not on the physical edition.
Nope.
It's the first. Nope. It's the first Halo game where it's actually not on the disc.
Mm-hmm. So you still had to do the 21 gig download on top of whatever was on the disc.
Yeah, you still got it. Well, no, I did it through Games Pass.
Okay. Oh, so you got it.
I pre-ordered Halo Infinite just like you, right? And even though you did it a year and a half ago, and I did it
I did it over the summer last year. Yeah.
I did it the day before it came out.
I gotta play that Craig game. Craig looks amazing.
I did it the day before it came out, and I got it before.
Yep. I actually still don't have my copy yet. I don't have my copy from Best Buy. Nope.
Wow.
It's coming Tuesday. So
Okay.
almost a week after it dropped. Yeah. So
Okay.
I'm very happy that I had Game Pass.
Well-
I was able to just download it. So no mess, no fuss. But Christ.
Well, I'll tease something for next show. I got
Okay.
something else coming in next Tuesday too. That's really big. I won't
shoot.
say anything.
Shoot.
Yeah, tune in the next show. I'll tell you what I got. I'll even show it.
Mm-hmm. Dad's got some
The crown, the crown jewel of my collection.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, but if you had to give Halo Infinite a score, combined multiplayer and campaign, right? What would you give it? I mean, Metacritic right now has Halo Infinite at 86 and user score of 82.
Mm-hmm.
But those scores don't matter. Only our scores.
Mm-hmm.
What would you two score?
What say you, Joe?
I think it's tough. I'm like, there's a lot that I'm annoyed about and that isn't done yet, but what is there, I'm enjoying so thoroughly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like part of me is just banking on the promise of all the future updates that are going to fill in all those gaps. But like as it stands today, I think I'd probably go with the herd. I think like mid 80s is probably right.
Okay.
I like the gameplay itself, super fun. I love the heck out of it. But there's a lot of room for improvement. It definitely feels like another year wouldn't have hurt them. Not that I wanted to wait that long, but it's no Cyberpunk, but
no.
It'll probably be it'll be in the 90s when it's all said and done. High 90s probably, but right now it's a little thin on the ground.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna have to agree. I'd say like 80, 85 in this case. Multiplayer stronger than the single player, but the verdict is still out on the single player because I've only played like, I think as much as you guys have, 5-6 hours or whatever it is, maybe a little bit more. So it's good. It's good. Don't get me wrong. I'm having a good time with it. But
okay. Well, I just want to say by default, single player better than the multiplayer.
Well, I mean, there you go.
By default. By default.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to shock you.
Yeah.
I'm going to give Halo Infinite campaign, so far, I'm going to give it a 9.
Wow. All right. Okay.
I'm going to give it a 9.
Okay.
The only thing I don't like is the open world part, but I'm starting to get used to it. Right? Like I'm starting to get used to it. I think I need another like 2-3 hours just to traverse the land and get used to grappling around and stuff like that. And I think I'm really into it. So I'm really digging Halo Infinite.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to mention about the single player, which I thought was kind of cool, is I think they took some design influence from Shadow of Mordor, the Lord of the Rings games. Well, if you go in the menu, I think it's like the 4th or 5th option. There's like files or whatever, and you can see documents on all of the like high level soldiers in the Banished Army and where they stand and like a little bit about them. And they're like cards that you can go after, and they're usually at like one of the big bases. All right. The thing they didn't implement is like there's no. It doesn't change the game when you kill those people or whatnot. They're just like a thing to get. Like, okay, you've uncovered this base. You now have this forward operating base, or you got this trinket or this charm from them. But they make them actual people with like backstories and whatnot. Like they're like part of a thing, and you can see like the regiment they're in. Like they like break it down. Like there's like your battalion, your squadron, and like the overall like I guess clan that you belong to. I think that's what it is. They have like 3 different things on the side to tell you like where they stand in the army. So I thought that was really cool. Like they kind of didn't do that before. Like they would dress up like an elite. He'd be like a special elite with a special color and maybe a crown in his head, and that was about it. And he'd just be a special type of enemy. But they kind of gave a little bit of a backstory. So I mean, I thought that was kind of neat.
There's some rumors out there that came out today that they cut a lot of stuff that was supposed to be in Halo just to get it out.
I heard that. Yeah.
So maybe the map could have been a little bit bigger. Or there'd have been more missions, right? Maybe they could have been, sort of tell you what the story is of Halo till now when you first start the game.
Yeah.
So I think this game needed at least 6 more months, right? Like if co-op is coming out in May, that's probably when this game should have came out, is in May or June.
I do feel though like it might actually be to the benefit long term to come out sooner than later, because like I don't know if you guys saw.
It can't get nominated for Game Awards.
No.
Yeah, this is true. I can't believe it won. I didn't even vote for it for that, and I love Halo, but I put in. We get to that later, I think.
Yeah,
but
further in the show.
But like there was a thing where like when you finish the battle pass, the little achievement thing that pops up says 120 on it, even though there's only like 100 levels, because one of the leaks earlier showed 120 levels, including more armor that isn't actually even in the battle pass. So it's like the longer this was under wraps, the more marketing got in there, and like we're like, no, charge money for that, monetize all the things. So like now that it's out and people are bitching and moaning about it like crazy, now the developers can finally be like, can we fix it now? Like, can we stop making it terrible? So
yeah, they're like halfway there, I think. You know, they still need to make some stuff like attainable, because there's that famous quote last year where they said everything's going to be unlockable just by playing the game. You don't have to pay for any of that stuff. You'll eventually get it, and they did the thing that Call of Duty did, but worse, or does. Because they do the same thing, it's just not as egregious. Every couple of levels will be a thing that, like, you need the battle pass to get it, and it's like, all right, fine. I'm not going to buy it, but fine. You know, this was like...
you literally can't get a single piece of armor without actually buying the battle pass? Is there any?
I've gotten one piece of armor, like actual add-on armor, and I'm at level 22 out of 100. Uh-huh.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay.
I've definitely put some time in.
That's some bull.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great, but guaranteed they'll make it better. I thought they would have had something big come out on the day to say, like, look, we're changing all this stuff, because there was a big patch or whatever. There was something that was like for it that you had to download, and they didn't really change any of the multiplayer stuff other than just like, here's more XP, which is good, but you get more XP to unlock things which you aren't able to use unless you pay another $10. Yeah. Not to mention all of the like esports stuff, right? There's all the esports special like FaZe Clan and whatever else that you have to pay money for if you want those specific skins and styles and whatever else. And that's like, I don't know, $10-20 a shot for like a few things. So
I almost wouldn't be mad if it was just like old school DLC, but like if I could pay like $1 for like some armor, I'd have been like, you know, like it's free, I get it. Here's $1, I might buy a few, you know, but like $20 damn for a freaking thing, and even then you don't get like full customization, and you got to do other stuff to get these other colors for them.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great.
Okay.
But we did. Well, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, because I was going to say we did have. I think we may be wrapping up the Halo talk a little bit, but one thing that I'm actually kind of curious about is what is everybody's favorite Halo entry out of all the ones, even the Halo Wars and everything, ODST 1 through 5, 1 through 6. I guess Infinite is now 6, so we have a good 7 entries, I guess. What's like the best overall
8.
experience? 8. Yeah, I guess 8. Oh, well,
plus
Reach
the
2.
Halo Wars is 10 if you're counting the
total?
war games, and then if you count the arcade and the 2 mobile games, no, it's fine.
Oh god. Well, the Halo arcade game was fun.
Well, I'll let Joe go first.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I was thinking about it in the lead up to this, and it is a difficult call. So it's kind of a split decision, and I think most people are probably with me on this. I don't know. There's a lot of hardcore Reach fans.
Reach,
but if it's like, if I could only play one for the rest of my life, it would probably be 3. But if I had to just pick absolute favorite, it's still number 1. No, just it was such like a perfect storm. Everything about that game, so many freaking hours playing, so many good times. So I have to go with 1, but tough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dave, I'm going to shock you with my pick, so I'm going to let you go first.
All right. So okay, overall, I would probably agree with you, Joe. 3 and Halo 1 for the memories. But I think the Halo 5 multiplayer, I think the Halo Infinite multiplayer is the best iteration of the multiplayer, and either Halo 3 or Reach is the best single player campaign out of all of those. So I would mix and match. But feet to the fire. I think 3, because 2, the multiplayer in 2 was kind of garbage. 3, they kind of refined it a little bit. They made everything pretty usable, and it had the gravity hammer, which was amazing. Love the gravity hammer.
Yeah. The only thing that Reach had the slightly better forge, because you could actually like snap things in place, which was a huge update. Is the only thing I would really miss from 3. I didn't actually like the Reach multiplayer as much.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm gonna shock you with my pick. You're not gonna believe it. So I will say this before I pick. There are 2 Halo games that are sort of special to my heart. Halo 2 was the first Halo I ever played. I never played the original Halo when it came out. I played it afterwards, and I played 2, and that was the first one I beat. Yeah, I beat 2 on the OG Xbox in my living room after a hard day of work at Circuit City.
Oh yeah,
I came home.
Good old days.
And yeah, so I beat, and it wasn't even my game. It was my cousin's game, and he just left it at my house. So I have a special connection to 2. Halo 4. I got a new job the day Halo 4 came out, and I said, you know what? I deserve this game. So I went out and bought it. I went to GameStop right there on 33rd Street in New York City, and I bought the game. I didn't really like it that much, but I loved it because it was like, I deserve this. Like, congratulations to me. I got a new job, but I didn't really like 4 as much. I'm going to say my favorite Halo is 5. Yes, I know the story itself is all over the place, but the game is linear. You know, I love my Call of Duty style. I have a squad with me, right? So you do have a squad with you, no matter if you're playing with Locke or as Master Chief, right? And I like the boss battles. I thought the boss battles were awesome, right? The overall story arc probably not so great, but the game as a whole, I thought was awesome. And I did play Halo 5 multiplayer. I played a little bit of it.
Oh, I love the multiplayer in 5.
I'll never play Infinite, but I played Halo 5 multiplayer.
Yeah, 5 is the reason I use the freaking battle rifle at all now, because I really got into SWAT for some reason. I'm like usually not like the precision person, but that little head pop noise when you get a headshot that they put in 5 and have carried over to Infinite. Thankfully, that little is just so good, so satisfying. So just like pop pop pop, taking people's heads out. I was gonna say the boss thing is something I didn't really mention in Infinite, but like that was a thing I didn't remember they even had bosses in 4, but it was like a big thing in 5, and I really like how they've done it in Infinite so far. Like that implementation has been really enjoyable, actually. I was a little worried it would be like the Warden all over again, but
is it just me? I just feel like playing this gives me like Destiny vibe, right? Gives me a little bit of Destiny vibes.
Yeah, I could see that.
All right, it's like I'm going deeper and deeper, and I'm trying to liberate this outpost. I'm going deeper and deeper, and then the boss just shows up, and it's like, okay, now we're on.
It feels very satisfying. I don't know. It feels very satisfying it does. When you get there. Yeah. And I like that they all have different personalities, and they're like, there's a little thing when they see you, and like they all have different like individual lines that all of those bosses will say, which I think is fantastic. Like, they added in those little touches. And like the dialogue that happens when you're on the missions is kind of nice. Like, it's not just like, oh, we're gonna go do this thing right now. Like, it's kind of unique to the thing that you're doing, even though it's like a side mission. But yeah.
All right. Well, I think I get from this that all 3 of us, we really like Halo Infinite. It needed a little bit more time in the oven.
Oh, agreed.
But what we played so far is awesome, right? So with that said, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to dive deep into the Game Awards 2021.